Hello, if you couldn't tell, there is a lot of text on the screen, and hell if I know what any of it means because it's going by quickly and I am overwhelmed with the clutter of UI, along with the UI bleed whenever I hover over an imaginary player next to me. I've got no clue what the Hello and welcome to Master Tower Defense. A lot of you guys have suggested this game to check out. And I am on an alt account because I already checked out the game, but I screwed up the recording because something happened to the audio and it obliterated. Right off the bat, to be completely transparent with you, I don't like this game. Let me explain to you immediately some of the issues and then we'll get into some of the matches, I suppose. And as the video continues, I'll give more criticism and some more information about why I don't like it. Right off the bat with the intro, UI bleeds. If I hover over this good fellow, we have all of his info right there. His loadout, his level, his username. But if I want to, let's say, go and check this out, thank you. What if I go this way a little bit and I want to kind of press this button? Whoever designed this, please redesign it. That's not good. I don't want to go into a weird spot of the universe where life doesn't exist just so I can read some basic information about a tower that doesn't even give me information about its actual DPS or anything of the sort. I know it says low damage, low cost, but please, for the life of me, give me some actual information. This doesn't give me information, and it's structured so weirdly. You gotta scroll quite a ways. I am happy that it does exist, but it's such a weird design. Then we could go into here and see all of it like so. Why not just put it in one spot already instead of 3 different locations that we have to kind of pocket towards? What I'm getting at, you have all of this room, the entire window visibility is to your advantage, and you have to pocket it in this tiny little box. But why? Information, regardless of what game you play, plays a big part, and that is why there is a guide at the very beginning that we kind of closed. It looks like this, and I closed it because the goddamn information was layering everywhere. So clearly this has to be equivalent to a tutorial, right? No. This is like a school bus. You go on field trips, it teaches you nothing. If you want actual practical information, you go into a cave and you go searching for it. You go into settings, you go into information, and then you get paragraphs upon paragraphs. But you do get the information you're looking for, so I am happy. So if you want the statuses, you would go here. But the thing labeled as guide doesn't even guide you to practical information. It just guides you to the gameplay and shows you the bare minimum of game modes. And if you're wondering why I say bare minimum, is because if you're a new player playing this game, equipments, you don't have that. M-tools, you don't have that. Skins, you don't have those either. Task, you don't have. Challenges, you also don't have. So what do we have exactly? I am so glad you asked. We have casual, no standard, no encore. Side modes, we got nothing. However, I will admit, leveling isn't all that bad, so you will get this soon, but it's only floors 1 through 4. So if you're looking forward to 4 new encounters, then you're in luck. If you do press skip, you'll end up here, and you go backwards, and it's a different map. If I press play, we're here. I don't know how that works, but sure game. This is one of those scenarios where the later and more you play, the more you'll experience, but at first hand, new player experience is pretty rough. It's not your typical tower defense structure, as one might assume, but a lot of the vocabulary used makes it perceive as it should be, which it isn't. There are some really cool side quests like this right here. There's flowers, like one's over there as well. Yeah, I don't know how to get it. If you do walk outside of the big giant building, you'll find main modes. And if we go over here, you'll also notice a lot of other stuff is locked, but I do believe it's in good reason because A new player isn't really going to be going into hell, insane, or hard mode difficulties and winning right off the bat, or making much progress regardless. And now, instead of actually going into one of the elevators, let's do what the game prompted us at the very beginning when we got inside of it and go through the guide. Here we are in a map I'm pretty sure wasn't showcased in the guide. I will admit the maps are pretty nice from the ones I have seen. The art style is pretty cool. The gameplay is as bare bones basic as you would expect for the new player introduction. Our units over here are basic. However, once we get into the lobby, we'll look at them a little bit deeper. But yeah, this is the riveting gameplay that you get to experience like all other tower defense games that I've checked out, sadly. Do you guys also run around the tower defense map when you've got nothing to do? I do that often. Now, there's one thing I forgot to mention when we were looking at our little unit earlier, and that is a missing detail over here. We don't have targeting, and that's on purpose. We don't even have a base health bar indication. 100 HP? No. You are mistaken. Your base has only 1 HP, so anything that does leak will indeed kill you instantly. That detail is good and bad, because if you're looking for a game that's unique or challenging, this could be it. But if you're looking for a tower defense game just to play and the first impressions kind of screw you over, then you yourself are probably not going to enjoy this off of your first few runs. One of the interesting gimmicks that kind of annoyed the hell out of me as a new player getting into what seems to be a standard tower defense is that you have these missing details, but purposefully, which is kind of weird. It's weird in the good and bad way because of its uniqueness and its later design that I'll showcase, but it's weird in a bad way because of the lack of information that we have. And so off of first impressions, it looks like a below average tower defense because of the such missing details mentioned. I will admit, there are some pretty interesting details with this game, like this. What usually should be a ground unit has no limitation here. And what is usually a heal unit has no limitation either. Also, if you're wondering about the different enemies, they're all health bars. That one's unique, I suppose, but for the most part, these are just health bars. The underling is kind of cool, but as mentioned, health bar. If you were wondering what they do a status. It's a bleed status on our units. And I will admit, the statuses in this game get pretty hefty, so you would actually have to learn the statuses to figure out what they do in particular. As mentioned, if you're looking for a challenging game, this one is most definitely there. It's just that first hurdle of a first impression that really annoys me. In case you were worried, there are some pretty cool details here. Like, the sniper is actually pretty decent, our little unit is pretty good, and our melee does have an ability here. So quality-wise, the towers themselves are actually pretty good compared to other tower defense games. Wave 20 is here, and we've got one underling right there, and soon I believe we should have the actual boss. And here's the sorcerer. This is it. This is how I'm waiting. I'll be honest, in the grand scheme of the waves, this one's actually way more friendly to players. Like, it took maybe 10 minutes to get through all 20 stages, so it's actually pretty nice not having to deal with a 40-minute, 30-wave campaign in a standard tower defense. We leveled up and we got the gunner tower. XP, currency, and more currency of a different type. This is also a really cool feature. You get bonus rewards over here, depending on how you complete the stage. And as mentioned, only 10 minutes, so it's very, very nice. We're back here again, we got a new mission, we claim reward, and there it is. Now that we've got the new unit, I do want to showcase this. This is pretty cool. There's alternative forms for the units. You do have to make some progress. Here's another unit that has an alternative. And so way later game, you're going to have way more to do and way more stuff to experience. If we go to our lovely guide over here, our next objective is to clear Casual Plus on that map. We press play and it's a different map. Why does it do that? Stuff like this makes me think the game is broken or something. The displays should actually reflect the map you're going into. I'm being led a false direction. You know that targeting thing I talked about? How you don't have that? Yeah, that would be really good if I had that for these guys, because they're crowd control units, and crowd control units, if they're not timed properly, they're just gonna waste their attack. Oh no, it's as if another unit would be really, really awesome having a targeting system as well for new players to utilize fully. I promise you, we'll get into that detail a little bit later. This is just a small detail, but our buddy over here doesn't have a stick of dynamite anymore. I thought it was funny to point this one out. He still does work. I'm gonna be honest with you, this is exactly the same game mode, so I'm just gonna see you back in the lobby when we're done. Alright, now that we're back in the lobby, we can go to missions, claim our reward, and we get modules. This is a very interesting feature. If you're like me, you skip all of the big giant text because big giant text is pretty much a big giant waste of time. However, I will admit, this game, you do need the big giant waste of time because that waste of time is important. And if you don't realize it, all of the information is hidden away in a very weird area known as the settings, as mentioned earlier. I am very glad that this does contain information and you can reference it whenever you need, but I really wish it was in a way more prominent area, because other than that, the only thing that looks like it would be a guide is a thing called console, because the icon looks like two books. If you click on it, it says search for information. What if I went to search for status? Okay, what about stats? What about bleed? Okay, what can I search for then? I don't know what to search for or how to even utilize it, despite it being here and available for me as a low level. Now, going back to the main thing at hand, going to equips, you can find modules. Not an area called modules, but equips. I really wish the area known as modules was a little bit more prominent as well. I'm being 100% honest. When I see equips, I'm thinking like actual weapons, items, like in Tower Defense Simulator or TDX that you can utilize during a match, like summons or little airstrikes, things like that. The icon even has a weapon for it. Okay, enough rambling about the different icons and how deep you have to go into a cave to just find one nugget of gold. Let's actually look at the nuggets of gold. Modules is pretty cool, and this is where you gain the ability to change the tower's targeting view, you know, the basic mechanic that every single tower defense game has at the very beginning. You are able to unlock that if you have MP. MP is a currency in this game for a loadout mechanic. The loadout mechanic is going to be for modules themselves and basically how many modules you can bring with you. As you unlock them, you'll be able to purchase them with coins afterwards, and different ones will cost a different MP value. So you do have to mess around and choose which ones you want and which ones you're going to leave behind. I'm just saying it would have been cool if we had this in the beginning rather than hiding it. However, the actual main structure of the modules giving you these things as you progress is actually really cool. Perks are a little bit more like curses. It's basically a double-edged sword. You get some benefits with a drawback, and it's limited to a specific set of different towers that you can have. Genuinely, this is a very cool mechanic to see, as you'll be able to experiment with different loadouts and different scenarios, and basically you'll be able to strategize better as you progress in the game. Now, this is where the game gets really challenging. The tower is really cool, but I'm going to follow the rules specifically. Demo Man and Sniper are what is recommended, so we're going to be utilizing them. The tower is a challenge mode where you have to select specific units to go along with you. So here we have chosen the 2 recommended, and we get a set of special waves that we have to defend on this map. I'm going to be honest with you, I'm pretty sure we lose wave 1. I did what the game wanted me to, and I put down demos for the crowd control, but that does seem to be GG's. The restart button is really awesome. Not that many tower defense games has a restart, so I like it. Alright, maybe the game actually wanted me to utilize both of them at the beginning, even though we're pretty limited on our cash. We just have to go through the dialogue once again, and we'll be good. I'm going to place this one here, and we'll put this one, we'll just put them like, I don't know, I kind of like this area and I like this area. We'll put him here. He's struggling a little bit, but this one's chipping away at them, so I'm pretty happy. We got further. We did get further. Oh, we leveled up. All right, we made it further, but we have a new problem. The problem is the boss itself with 8,000 HP compared to my little sniper that barely does 220 damage. So we might just be screwed here, you know? Yeah, 800 damage there isn't gonna happen. Alright, I am stuck. What would I do in this case? I could look at alternative options, and on my main account I actually did. I tried out Sledger, Darty, Freezer, and I was going to get Rocketeer, but I desperately needed crowd control, so my coins that went to Sledge made me not get Rocketeer. Please, for the love of God, just put the stats somewhere. Also, be careful. Because I did the tower, my loadout completely got shattered, so if I go into a match right now, I'm most definitely going to lose. Guys, I found it. It's for towers only? What if I type in damage classes, for example? Okay, thank you. Thank you for being half useless. Dude, this genuinely sucks. I had hoped he was a little bit cheaper, but you know what would have been nice? Sing the stats. At least tell me something like this as a new player. And that's pretty much where we ended off. As a new player, going into this, being pretty stuck on floor 1, with not much of a clue as to what else to do other than run it back an endless amount of times till I do win. The progression on Lost does hurt, and the overall morale for running it back, hearing the dialogue, be it useless, and going through the same waves over and over really does kind of drain me with the vocabulary usage of guide. Alternative options would be these, which is pretty alright. I will admit, guide is a pretty good and straightforward word for what this is. It's supposed to guide you through the different modes in a weird pathway, but I really wish it was more information-based or at least some aspect for new players to have to give them a direction with information. We do get the pop-ups whenever we get something new, but a lot of people I feel like would skip it if it's just a wall of text like this until they actually need it or if there's actually something of usage. Going ahead and diving into something like this and seeing these, this is cool because I could just click on one, read about it, and get out of there. The game is really cool. This is just a scenario where my first impressions are completely shattered in the bad way because of how mixed match a lot of things are. And I'll genuinely admit, it has pretty much drained my energy to the point where I don't really feel like I want to progress in this game at all, more or less come back to it. But that's my experience. You will probably have a way different experience, especially after watching this and knowing what I previously did not know. Also, I still don't know what the hell this is, but the button doesn't even give me a prompt saying you need to be level something to access it. Additionally, those prompts broke as well, so that's awesome. This game genuinely has a ton of really cool features. I hope you can experience them, and I hope you can have way more fun with them than I have. The score is going to be up above with the little brief summary, but in essence, bad first impressions, cool little game. It has a ton of features and a ton of different mechanics that you can mess around with. Definitely on the side of challenging. I'd give this a try. Other than that, that's going to be all for this video. If you want to check out the game, it'll be down below in the description. Leave a comment down below if you want me to check out a game. And if you're looking for other games to play, check out my channel. I upload a ton of content, so hopefully you'll find something fun and new to play. Other than that, I'll be seeing ya.